Welcome to Module 5, Part 2.
Hey, I'm back. I got the scope out. I have my two slides that I stained with methylene blue. I'm putting them here on the mat where you really can't see them. I want to make sure the camera was more specifically focused on the microscope and my handling of it. Okay, of course, first thing I did was I unwrapped the cord, plugged it in, and I'm going to turn the light on. And I like to use the microscope in a particular way. These microscopes are designed so that you can turn them around like this. Get the cord out of the way. And then there's a little knob here I can loosen, and then I can spin the head around. So now the lenses are facing me. And this is very convenient. For people who work with microscopes a lot, this is their preferred position. It's preferred because most microscopists are right-handed, and the knobs that control the mechanical stage that moves the slide back and forth into position, those knobs are almost always located on the right-hand side of the scope as you face it from the front, the way I'm looking at it right now. You can't see the knobs, but they're over here where my right hand is. Much more convenient for someone like me to move the slide back and forth as I attempt to position the bacteria in view and to focus them properly. So I turn the light on. Right now it's on pretty bright. It's way too bright. On a low power, you want to turn the brightness down. And there's a little control here at the side that does just that. Okay? So now it's not nearly as bright. What I'm going to eventually use here is I'm going to have to use a special kind of oil called immersion oil. And at least here at Trinity, where I teach full time, we keep our immersion oil in these special little bottles. And you say, well, how come you're saying they're special? Now, this may not show up in the video. I'll hold it up to the camera a little bit. But if you look carefully, here we go, get my black shirt behind it. If you look carefully, you can see sticking out of the top of the bottle, it was underneath the cap. Took the cap off, now you can see it. There is this very small diameter protuberance. That is really helpful because I need to be able to put a very small drop of oil from this bottle on a very specific place on the slide, and that spout is going to allow me to do that. So I will show you how I do that in just a minute. But the first step, of course, is to get the slide on the stage and begin focusing. So I'm going to take Cucuria rhizophila, and I'm going to put it on the stage. And hopefully you remember from the previous lab module, I have to move the flipper of the mechanical stage out of the way. See it there? Move it out of the way. Stick the slide in. I know it's hard to see from there, but I slide it in. I let the flipper go, and that traps the slide. So now when I turn the mechanical stage side to side or back and forwards towards me and away from me, the slide is locked in place. It moves. It's not going to wiggle. It's not going to fall out. It's very, very secure. So the first thing I need to do is I need to focus. What I do is I bring the stage, I use the coarse adjustment knobs, and I bring the stage all the way up as close as I can to the lenses, the objectives. I make sure the scanning lens, the shortest one, is in place. And then what I do is I look through the lenses, the ocular lenses, and I move the slide back and forth trying to find the smear. And there's the smear. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to slowly move the stage, the slide, down away from the objective lens until the bacteria, which are very, very small at this point, they're like little pieces of dust, until I can get them focused. And let me work at this a little bit, make sure I get this right. Okay, so that's pretty good. Okay, then what I do, now that I have it to focus under the lowest power, I now need to turn the turret to bring the next objective lens into place. So this small lens is called a scanning lens. The next objective is called the low power lens. And on my scope, it has a yellow ring around it. And it's 100x. So I move that into place. Here I'm going to use the fine adjustment. I'm focusing. Got it. Looks good. Now I'm going to move the high and dry objective, which has a 40x objective and has a blue ring on it. And of course, what I do is I make sure that I'm not going to hit the slide. I didn't look that time. I should have. I was too busy talking to you. So it turned out fine. The objective lens didn't hit the slide. And now I move things a little bit back and forth so I can see where they are. And I focus again. Now the light needs to be brighter. So I'm going to turn the light up a little bit with the control on the bottom, on the base of the microscope. I also can kind of control the light using this Irish diaphragm. There's a lever here. And I'm not sure that one is really better than the other. I just do whatever works. Okay, now here's the thing. This is the thing that I need to clearly demonstrate. And I'm afraid it's not going to be really easy to see. The next lens is the oil immersion lens. It's 100x objective, which means combined with the 10x oculars, I'm going to get a total magnification of 1000x. But in order to do that, the lens has to be extremely close to the slide, and the lens of the 100x objective, that lens must be in contact with a drop of oil. I'm going to take my bottle of immersion oil, special oil. I can see the light coming through the slide, so I know where I need to put the drop. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to hold this about a ½ inch above the slide. I'm going to squeeze out a single drop. I'm going to let the drop fall from the spout to the slide. So let me kind of demonstrate that with another slide. So here's a slide. And what I did was I held the spout of the oil bottle about a ½ inch above the slide. Now notice what I do. As the drop falls, I make sure the drop completely leaves the bottle and hits the slide. Like that. Now, I almost missed the slide. It's a little hard to do from here. Okay? But you get the idea. Okay? First, put the cap back on the oil. And now what I need to do is I need to swing the oil immersion objective into the oil. This is really important to look from the side. This is when you're most likely to hit the slide. Okay, looks pretty good. I use only the fine adjustment. I turn it very little. And bing, bang, boom, I have focused on the stained bacteria. And of course, you can't see those bacteria. You have to take my word for it. But I've done this literally thousands of times over my many, many years as a microbiologist. And there they are. So that's the way that you would take a slide that has been stained for bacteria, and you would focus it, eventually ending up using the oil immersion lens. Of course, when you're done, I don't have the lens paper here with me, but when I'm done with the video, I'm going to wipe the oil off the lens, make sure everything's cleaned up, wrap the cord around the scope, and then put the scope away. Now, you should have noticed that the staining dish is no longer here. I moved it out of the way. As a matter of fact, what I did was I poured the staining solution in the dish into a special bucket. You have to properly dispose of the staining solutions when they are used. Okay, that's it for Module 5.